Greetings to all viewers. This is Professor Ankit Singh. We'll now move ahead and have a look at the methods of measuring spot speeds. So there are a few methods that we use, which are direct timing procedure for spot speed determination, scope method, use of pressure contact tubes, radar speed meters, photographic method, and video camera method. Okay. So first one is direct timing procedure for spot speed determination. So here what we do is we have two reference points, reference point 1 and 2, and there is one observer placed at the midspan of this known distance. Okay, firstly what we do is we mark a distance and place reference points. Okay, and this distance would vary based on the average speed of the vehicles in that area. If the average speed is less than 40 kmph, then this base length could be 27 meters. For 40 to 65 kmph it can be 54 meters, and for greater than 65 meters kmph, this should be 81 meters. Okay, so after doing this, there is a surveyor who is placed midspan over here, and he needs to record the time taken for this vehicle to cross to travel from reference point 1 to reference point 2. Okay, then if we have the time of travel and we know the distance, then speed is equal to distance traveled by time taken. Okay, so this is the first procedure or the first method. So what are the advantages of this method? Minimum setup is needed initially, and it is flexible and requires no maintenance cost or marking. Okay, so here the reference points could be artificially placed, or they could also be an already existing element like a tree or a electric pole. Okay, what are the disadvantages? There are chances of error in observation, which is said to be parallax. Okay, so we can have a parallax error because this surveyor is placed at midspan. Okay, and he might not observe the exact time of passing of the vehicle about this point. Okay, since he is at a inclined angle. Okay, so basically what he does is he has a stopwatch and he switches it on when the vehicle crosses reference point 1 and then stops it when it crosses reference point 2. Okay, so there are chances of parallax. It is time consuming and error in starting and stopping of stopwatch. Okay, these are a few disadvantages of this method. The next method is the inoscopic method, where a device known as a inoscope is being used. Okay, so this with the help of this inoscope, what one can do is one can have a perpendicular sight. Okay, so if the inoscope is placed here, the image of this area would be seen here. Okay, so if the surveyor is placed at this point, okay, so he can observe the vehicle without any parallax error at reference point 1 and 2. Okay, everything else is the same procedure would be used. The distance would be placed according to the speeds, average speeds. Two reference points would be marked, and the time taken for a vehicle to cross reference point 1 and point 2 would be noted. Okay, so what are the advantages here? The parallax error due to the first method is removed. Okay, there is no parallax error. Flexible equipment is of low cost, simple, easily set up, and fairly reliable. Okay, so this is the advantages. Disadvantages: the error in starting and stopping of time watch. Since this is a human error, so this can still occur. Time required is more, which reduces the number of samples. Not suitable for continuous and long-term studies which involves high personal cost and human factors. Okay, so these methods can only be adopted for short studies or for one or two samples only. If we need to take many samples, then these would be tedious, and since the personnel or the surveyor has to be paid more, so these would not be efficient. The next type, the next method is method using pressure contact tubes. Okay, we already have an idea about these pressure contact tubes. Okay, we have studied them for volume count studies. Okay, where a pneumatic tube was placed on the road perpendicular to the road. Okay, so what is the procedure here? Two tubes are placed at known distance apart. Okay, the first tube produces air impulse whenever a vehicle passes over it, which activates an electromagnetically controlled stopwatch in the hands of the observer. Next, when the vehicle crosses the second tube, the stopwatch automatically stops due to electromagnetically controlled system. The reading is noted by the observer, or it can also be recorded automatically by automatic data recorder. Okay, so here the starting of the stopwatch and stopping of the stopwatch will have no error since it is controlled by the pressure tube. Okay, and there is very less work for the surveyor. What are the advantages? The human errors are reduced and it is simple to operate. We just need to place those two tubes at a particular distance from each other, and then whenever the vehicles cross that tubes, the time would be recorded. You know the distance, so you can find out the speeds. Disadvantage: the road tubes are required. Okay, so there is one extra element that is required, that is a road tube, and it is not suitable for continuous steady and high volume conditions. Okay, the next method is using radar gun, okay, or radar speed meters. Now these equipments work on Doppler principle, that the speed of the moving body is proportional to the change in the frequency between the radio wave transmitted to the moving body and the radio wave received back. Okay, so basically we have a radar gun and we try to aim at the vehicle and send a radio wave towards the vehicle, and the radio wave will hit the vehicle and will be received back by the equipment. Now depending on the speed of the vehicle, the frequency of the radio wave would be different, and from this the machine or the speed gun itself will record the speed of the moving vehicle. Okay, so this instrument is set up on the edge of the pavement. The instrument is set up in such a way that the angle made by the vehicle travel and axis of transmission of the radio wave is kept as low as possible as 20 degrees. Okay, so the angle should be less than or equal to 20 degrees. Okay, the instrument is battery operated and is portable. The instrument is kept at a height of 1 meter above the ground level. So this is the procedure of using radar guns or radar speed meters to find out the spot speeds. Now the final method is by using photographic method and video camera method. Here time-lapse camera photography has been used successfully to determine the speeds of vehicles accurately in crowded areas. This method requires a motion picture type camera equipped with time-lapse mechanism, which consists of a device to move the film in a single frame at a time at a given interval of time, and a frame numbering device. Okay, when the film is developed and projected on a screen, a vehicle's movement along with the roadway is readily determined. Okay, so here nothing but we use time-lapse photography and also we can record videos in order to find out the speed. Now the next topic to be discussed is analysis and the presentation of spot speeds. Now we have data regarding the spot speeds. How do we present it? That we'll study in the next class. Okay. Thank you.